All right, happy Sunday, guys. This is Tara. I'm gonna get set up here, make sure everything's going correctly, make sure that we have sound, because a couple of weeks ago I was having issues with that. Here we are. Let's see here. Let's see if we have sound. Do we have sound? Sound. We do have sound. All right. Good evening. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in mid-Missouri. If you're on tonight, give me a shout out. Hey, Rosie, thanks for joining. Let me know you're watching. If you're watching a replay, do a hashtag replay. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you found me from. So a lot of people just know me on YouTube here. I do have a Facebook channel. I also have some Instagram where you can see smaller videos sometimes. Just kind of moving that camera around a little bit. So as I said, tonight we are going to do a double easel fold. This is by far my favorite fun fold. I absolutely love it. But, and I haven't done one in a whole month, and I think it's been like 6 weeks. So I decided to give that a whirl today. I'm also using the Traditions of Christmas designer series paper because I absolutely love that. So I paired it with Bauble's Bloom. Hey Mary, thanks for joining. Rosie, thank you so much. So I wanted to use this stamp and die set, and I thought it would pair beautifully with the Traditions of Christmas, because quite honestly, what doesn't pair beautifully with Traditions of Christmas? So this is tonight's card. This is what we're going to do. Before we do that, I do want to let you guys know that starting on Wednesday is a new month for us. Holy geez Louise, where is the year going? And on Wednesday, Stampin' Up! Has by far the best joining offer that I have ever seen in my life. I've been doing this for about 7 years. I was a stamper for about 5 or 6 years before that, and I don't think I've ever seen this before. So if you want to dip your toe in what Stampin' Up! Is like, this is the time to do it. $35 gets you $125 worth of products of your choice, whatever you want to pick that goes into that starter kit. So that's you're going to spend more than that for dinner at the end of the day. So $35 gets you a whole bunch of crafting supplies. If you're new to card making, you could fill the whole thing with kits. Get a ton of different kits. Give it a whirl, see if you like it. Now, if you've been stamping a while and you still think that you need all these supplies, you can do the regular kit at $99, but you get $189 worth of product. That's almost $200. Holy geez Louise. Hey Karen, thanks for joining. So best time ever to start, and that starts on Wednesday. I'd love for you to join me on my team. We have a ton of fun. It's great fun, lots of inspiration. It's really awesome. So that being said, let's get to today's card. So I'm going to set this over to the side. So that's what we're working on. So I have everything kind of cut out. We're going to start out with the stamping and get that out of the way. And then we're going to, I'm going to cut this real quick though. Hey Pamela, thanks for joining. So I feel like we'll be fine with 3.5. I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss, so that's why I'm cutting that down so it'll fit in there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp this greenery image, and I'm going to do that with Old Olive. So I'm going to ink this up really well, and we're going to stamp it twice. So I'm going to keep it kind of close to the edge over here. I'm going to try to line this up that way. If I have to trim off some designer series or some basic white, I can. So I gave it enough space, I think, that we'll be able to die cut that. Then I'm going to take, there's 2 different flowers sets in here. So you have the outlined and then the solid. So as I've said before in the past, hey Karen, thanks for joining. As I've said in the past, two-step stamping like this is a mystery to me. And so it's not hard. It's not as hard as I like to make it, because I certainly do try to make it really hard. But what you need to do is you need to play with every set that you get. That's what I do. I stamp the outline and then fill it in with the solid. I stamp the solid and then fill it with the outline. And amazingly enough, it's different with every stamp set. You know, one time I'll be like, oh, yep, I finally have it. I know what I'm doing. And then I get another two-step stamp set in, and that doesn't work for me. So try it. So this one I tried on scrap paper. I like to do the outline first and then the solid on this particular one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up and kind of eyeball it and see where I'm going. So you'll see there's little holes in here and spaces. That's for these flowers to go in. And I'm going to ink that up with cherry cobbler. And I'm going to give it a whirl. And so I kind of started down here in this corner, and then I'm going to look up at the top and see if I need to adjust. So you'll see me just moving it ever so slightly to make sure that none of my little flowers are going to go into the greenery. And if they do, it's not the end of the world. And hopefully you're not getting a head full of my hair. All right. Feel like that's pretty good. I'll take both of those. All right, now I'm going to pull out a piece of scrap paper, and I am going to do this again, but we're going to stamp this one off. So I'm going to kind of line this up and figure out how I want my stamp to go, that's the way I want it. I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to give it a nice little stamp, and then I'm going to line up my little flowers. I'm going to line up my big flowers and hold my breath. And I like it. Right, we're going to do that twice. So I'm going to pull that one over, line up the flowers, starting with the little guys, twirling on the big guys, and then making sure the little ones stayed good. I'll take both of those. All right, so that's going to be our Baubles. So our beautiful vintage Christmas looking ornaments. I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to let that cherry cobbler kind of set a little bit. And I'm going to bring out a panel of basic white. So this is going on the inside. I have some Secret C. Yep, spot on, Karen. Good enough, right? And I'm going to stamp this sentiment, Joyous Wishes. This is from the Baubles Bloom stamp set as well. And then I have a small strip of designer series paper that we're just going to add to the bottom of this. Just because we have that scrap, don't waste it, use it. It adds just enough decoration, and it looks like we got a little bit much. I'm going to trim that off the side with my paper snips. All right, so that is going to go on a gold foil mat. I've been using gold foil all weekend. Now, I do use a little bit of extra adhesive with gold foil, and I use dry adhesive. I don't think liquid adhesive works really well with gold foil. Well, with any of the foils, because it kind of pulls up the metallic. So I always use seal, and I always use just a little bit extra because it is slick and it doesn't have the texture and teeth that other paper does, so it doesn't adhere as well. So I want it on the contact as much as it possible. All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead, and this is the side. Nope. This is the side that I'm using for the back part of the easel. So we're going to go ahead and, once again, I'm going to give that little extra bit of seal on there. And so this is going to go on the inside of the mechanism. We'll get all this adhered, and then I'll show you how to put the card base together. Now, I used the second die, largest die. Yes, it's perfect, isn't it? Mary said, love the secrecy with the gold foil. It just pops. So I used the second largest die from the Perennial Postage, and I die cut a piece. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. I die cut this using this one, using cherry cobbler. And I love it. I love to be able to put something on the inside of these so that only that peekaboo effect happens. Now, because that's got a little bit of gold foil in it, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of extra seal. Because the last thing we want is our cards to fall apart while they're in the mail or something. And with these going at winter, those adhesives get hard and sometimes crack. So that's another reason I'm using a little bit of extra this time of year. All right, so here's that. Now, let's see here. One last, and I've got more gold foil. And so, yes, I could have used just cardstock, but why use cardstock when you can be shiny? Oops. Pull that down just a little bit. There we go. Straightened it up. So everyone that uses liquid adhesive says that the reason they need it is they need that wiggle time. Quite honestly, there is a little wiggle time with seal as well if you just get it at the right moment. All right. Let's die cut these. So let me see if my mini cut and emboss will work with these. We'll see. We'll try together. So this particular die Stampin' die bundle has just this little small die set. So just a couple of things. So I use that with the gold foil and then use that. Now you can go ahead and die cut those flowers and then pop them up. I didn't do that because we're doing, these double easel cards are very thick. So I want to make sure that oh, I hope this doesn't hang off and cut. We may have a problem, Houston. I may not have cut my paper wide enough. Oh, that one's good. And this is okay. Because even if it hangs off a little bit, the other one did too. You just don't see it because it's underneath. It's hidden. So I'll show you what I mean in just a second here. All right. So, oh no, we're gonna have to redo this one. That just didn't work out. It's okay if it doesn't cut through on one side, but it's certainly not okay if it doesn't cut through on both sides. So let's see here. That doesn't look big enough. I'm in my stash of basic white scraps here. Seeing that one will work. I'll just have to finagle it correctly. Let's start all over here with holding our breath. Okay, I'm gonna set that kind of right how I want it. Okay. I'm gonna be a little closer on one side. That way if it hangs off, we'll be okay. All right, bring that cherry cobbler out again. Now, can I do it 3 times in a row? Let's see here. So today, Karen over at Creative Stampin' Designs and I had our monthly class. We did a Gathering Moments class. It was absolutely the funnest afternoon. We had a really great turnout. And then we announced that next month we are doing decorative pines. So we're pretty excited about that. It's not going to be the last weekend of the month though. We normally do the last weekend of the month, but we'll be on our way home from our awesome team retreat that we're going to in Georgia. So we're meeting up with a bunch of fantastic people to craft for 3 or 4 days. We'll have shoebox swaps, lots of amazing food. It's a lot of fun. So we usually do that in the fall of the year. Okay, cool. This one's gonna work. So if you need information on that delicate pines, that's gonna be available on my blog. It's there today. It's on Facebook. All right, here we go. That one's gonna work. Now we can move on. Sorry about that. Here we go. So these are gonna go here. Let's go ahead and layer these up and then start on our card front. And then we can put the card together. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of seal there and add my hanger. That's what I called it. I don't know if that's that's the name of it or not. But I called it an ornament hanger. So it's just gonna sit on top of that ornament with a little bit of seal. Maybe we'll add a little more seal here. More seal can never hurt, right? Okay, so there's those. And now we can go ahead and I have cut out a couple of little branches out of old olive using the branching out dies. So I think last week's card I called it everything but the kitchen sink. I think that's gonna become a trend here. So we've got the branching out dies. I did have a little bit of extra, so I don't know if we'll need that one or not. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start adhering it, and I feel like it looks best if you have one coming out and then one going right on top. And so you need to glue this one first. All right. So little liquid adhesive. You know, if I'd use these tweezers like I got out, I'd probably be in better shape. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it because we don't want our baubles to just be hanging out in the middle of the air with nothing. You know what I mean? So you got to adhere it to like hang it from something. But what better thing to hang it from than a Christmas tree limb? All right, I don't think I'm going to use that one. And of course, with the liquid adhesive, I got it all over my fingers and thumbs, and now it's going to be a mess. All right, so now if I had cut the side off here, I could have just covered it up like that, see? So we're gonna hang this one first, and I'm gonna hang him with some dimensionals, of course. So I'm gonna put a couple on there. Now it does kind of hang off a little bit, so be mindful of that. You don't want it to hang off too much. I agree, Mary. They are the prettiest pine boughs. Thank you, Stampin' Up. I love them. All right, so I'm gonna hang it off, but I don't want to hang it off too much. Okay, so there's my bauble kind of hanging there. And so now we're gonna bring this one down just a little bit, and I think I am gonna use this one. Yeah, we're gonna use that one. I'm gonna trim this off so it doesn't look like we've got a broken branch. We'll get this liquid adhesive. And we'll just add one more. An ornament cap. Thanks friend, I would have had no idea to call it an ornament cap. All right, here we go. So now I'm going to add this one with Stampin' Dimensionals as well, but I'm not going to put them on the ornament itself. I'm going to put them on the cardstock. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I don't want to create 2 layers on top of this, but I still want them to have that dimension. So you can always add that there. We're going to bring it down just a little bit. And that's where it's going to stick. So there's the card front. Now, I did cut, I called this the flag portion of the Perennial postage. So this is the smaller sentiment die cut. And I didn't put these on the block because I wanted to show you how I did that. So the Merry and Happy and Christmas come all separately. So that you can add it into this cool little thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Merry Christmas. And how I did it was I went ahead and set it on my paper. And I kind of lined it up where I wanted it. And now I'm going to do the Merry. And I'm just going to butt it right up against it. And they kind of touch. And then I'm going to take my Stampin' block and go ahead and set it. And now I'm kind of, so you can like look at it and see how it's, if it's straight. And it is. So I'm happy with that. But I wanted to show you how to do that. So I'm going to ink this up with Versamark. Get it nice and juicy. And then I'm going to stamp right here in the center. Cover that up. Now I keep my embossing powders in this nice little handy dandy thing. So I want white. There's my white. And here's my static mat. So everything that I need is right there with my, and sometimes I keep my Versamark in there. Oh, I didn't use my static mat before then. Well, hopefully we don't have a mess. All right, I'm gonna pick this up. We're going to sprinkle away. And I keep the same piece of paper in here. And break all of it off. We're gonna have to redo this too. I just feel it. Because I didn't use that darn static mat. Let's see here. Okay. I think I can fix it. We're going to try it. So in the magic box is also a paintbrush to get any of these side filaments off. There we go. Hold our breath. Let's see if it works. Otherwise, we'll die cut another piece of Secret C. This will be the night of comic errors. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to hold this here. I'm going to try not to be too loud. But the magic of embossing powder still amazes me every time I do it. And the Wow embossing powders are just so good. All right, I'm gonna let this one go. It's not perfect, but it'll work. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside to cool and make sure that we don't get anything on it. Let's go ahead and put it on the card front. So this is another time where I kind of place my dimensionals where I want them on the card base. Here we go. So there's the card front as we go. Now let's do the magic and put the card base together. So I have my Simply Score mat tool, and I have a piece of card base that's 4 1/4 by 11, so a normal everyday card base, and we're going to score that at 5 1/2. So anytime you need to make a double easel card, this is what you want to do. So 5 1/2. Now I have a 4 1/8 by 3 3/8. These are my favorite measurements on a double easel card, and I score it 2 and 4. That's all the scoring you have to do. They're not as intimidating and hard as you would think, because they do look really, really intimidating. I'll give you that. And if I were my bone folder, there I would be. So I'm going to score that card base and fold it in half and now burnish it. So there's our cherry cobbler card base. This is our secret C. So we're going to put the long side to the top. I fold it in half, making sure that I stay completely straight, and I burnish. Now, one of the things that you're going to see, well, I'll show you. And then you fold down and burnish again. So this creates like a Z. This creates a mountain and a valley. However you want to take it, that's what you use. Now, you'll see that it kind of creates, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it kind of creases that back, but it's going to be adhered to the card base, so who cares? All right, now let's throw this bad boy together. So I'm taking seal, and once again, because this is a mechanism, I use a lot. So if anything comes from tonight, you'll know to use a lot of seal. So this gives you a 1/8 inch mat of the cherry cobbler around the secret C. We'll fold that down, and this back layer goes to the back of the mechanism. You don't need a lot of seal on that. Creating that nice little 1/8 of an inch. Once again, we've got an 1/8 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch. I like an 1/8 of an inch. I like it. I like just to peek that stuff out. Now we're going to adhere the small matted area DSP and gold foil to the bottom. Now all we have to do is add our card front. Now I'm going to use like 3 little strips of seal, because once again, this is a mechanism. This is going to kind of hang out, so we need it. It's only going to be adhered on the bottom, so we need to make sure that it's going to be strong enough to hold. And there we go. Now mine didn't have embellishments, but I made sure that I pulled these out, because let's definitely do that. I think let's do the gold, because yeah, shiny. Yeah, there we go. Now we can put the innards in there. I don't know where I got that from. So we'll put the inside layers on the inside of the card base. And there it is, a double easel fold using the Bauble Blooms set. I've got a piece of designer series paper that we're going to adhere on the outside of this envelope. I probably should stamp some pine boughs on the front too, but my branched set is put away, so we're not going to do it. I'll have to do it later. All right, a nice little burnish. Don't forget, we've got the Delicate Pines class coming up. This week is the last day to sign up for the Joyous Day Memories and More class. Deadline is Tuesday. And then sign up special. Super awesome team. Well, I don't say so myself. Lots of fun, belly laughs, all needed. Must have a good sense of humor. All right, thank you so much for spending. Oh, I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad you guys spent part of your Sunday night with me. You have an amazing week. I'll see you back here next Sunday night for another card tutorial. I'm sure it'll probably be Christmas because 'tis the season. Have a good one.